Hey guys, this is Lorenzo from Wargamers of 40K here. As you might have seen earlier, Nick did a video on the new Warriors of Chaos book, and I decided to make a similar video about this new High Elves book that just came out recently. It was May 4th, Saturday. So I'm just going to basically go through it. I have looked through it a little bit. I figured I'd just let you guys see the new book in action, or not really in action, but see what the new book's like. As you can tell from the beginning, and all the other new books, they're actually hardcover now, and they're in full color. Here's just a glimpse of the outside. Pretty basic. I like the cover. I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's get started. There's a nice little bit of artwork. And yes, this is written, actually it's not this page, but it's written by Matt Ward. For those of you who know who he is, he's pretty notorious for writing, I guess you could say, cheaper codexes, or yeah, pretty much cheaper. He wrote Grey Knights, Blood Angels, Space Marines, which is not too cheap, but Grey Knights is the main one. Yeah, he's pretty notorious for writing cheaper rules, but I personally haven't played with this yet to know if it's that cheap or not, but maybe you guys have an opinion on that. Anyways, on the beginning of the book, like most of these other books, it's the story of the High Elves. I haven't really gotten into this much, but of course I will, because I just sort of like this stuff. Yeah, it basically goes from the beginning of the Elves, and then it goes through the Phoenix Kings from the first Phoenix King, Anarion, which actually I have the first book. If any of you have read this, it's actually a pretty good book. Yeah, that's basically when he fights off the first Chaos invasion. And let's see, yeah, it just goes through basically all of the High Elves Phoenix Kings, all the way to Calidor II. You may know he fought the dwarves. Yeah, basically all of them, and then the current one is Funabar the Sea Bear, and he has a little bit more, obviously, and then a bunch of stuff about him is like Teclis, and there's a bunch of stories about Teclis and Tyron. Here's the main part, probably most of you are interested in. This is the rules now. And if we look from the beginning, there are a few changes. First of all, many of the old High Elf players have probably been familiar with this rule of martial prowess. Basically, you can attack at an extra rank in combat and in shooting, so you can shoot another rank too. So you could have 3 full ranks, and you could fire them without penalty. In addition, as before, you can fight an additional rank, like before with Spearman and other than Sea Guard. But as you see later, more than the Sea Guard and Spearman have this rule, which is, I think, a cool advantage, and maybe not, to others it might not be the most fair rule, but I don't know, I like it personally. Others is the Valor of Ages. That's basically how it was in the old game. Lula's Blessing, similar to just another bonus for High Elf mages. Fireborn, that is for the Fire Phoenix, is just more resistant to fire. And then there's some armory, like the Bowl of Avalorn, which the Sisters of Avalorn carry, and other stuff like that. Commanders, I don't really think they've changed too much. I actually haven't compared the stats, but I don't think there's a significant change. And now the only real big change they have is that is always strike first, which in the last book they had that, but they always strike first regardless of the weapon they're carrying, and now it's just always strike first, meaning that if you have always strike last, this would cancel out and you just go out your regular initiative, which with a Lord is not too bad, which is 8 or 7 if it's a noble. That is how I believe it goes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was just more of a fairness, an act of fairness. buy games workshop more than anything. Mages, they actually went down in points, which maybe you'll see later, but they're just basically the same, except now they have +1 to the spell, which is detailed back there, and +1 to cast rather than the spell now. Yep, dragons, I believe the only difference is I think the toughness went up of each one. And they all have strength 4 breath weapons now. And 3 have scaly skins. Just stats of Sun Dragon are worse than Moon or Star Dragons. Let's see, Oathwand Militia, you guys are pretty familiar with this if you played Isles, Spearman, Sentinel, Archer, Hawkeye. Basically the same thing. Wardens of Safari, this is like the Sword Masters. Basically the same thing. Weapon skill 6, and nice. It's always nice. Great weapon, of course. And the new rule they have is deflect shots, so they have 6-up ward save against shooting attacks that are non-magical and do not use templates. So very nice. They're always handy. And then a Lore Master of Hoeth, which I think they're pretty cool. They're one of the newest units, and basically they're level 2 wizards. They know all 8 signature spells, which basically makes them very versatile. Any spell, they have every spell from each thing, so basically, whatever the occasion, they can use it. And then, of course, they're pretty decent in fighting. 3 attacks, initiative 7, weapon skill 6, so if you put them in a Swordmaster unit, that would make sense. But then again, maybe not because of the miscasts. Swordmasters aren't too good at defending that. Other than that, there's Defenders of Lothlorien, which is basically, the reason why they've kind of organized like this, they've kind of placed more emphasis on each province of Ulthuan, Lothlorien being one of them, and obviously Seaguard, and the new Bolt Thrower, that's not really new, but the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. I don't think much changed. I think they got rid of, I think it's more like a regular Bolt Thrower. I'm not sure if you get in the last game you got benefit of like not missing, I don't know, I haven't really looked over it, but just glanced at it. Let's see, there's also this new Sky Cutter, which can have a bolt thrower on it, and then of course the Sea Helm, which is like a commander of the Lothlorien province. But he can actually go on this, and then there's a picture of the Sky Cutter if you haven't seen it. Yeah. Here, some more basic stuff. Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers are now core. If you never knew that, now you know. Which is a nice bonus. You can make more acquisition for if you're like a cavalry person, you can have more cavalry now. Because before, with our loaded special category, I doubt many of you took Silver Helms, which I didn't. I might consider not taking them now since they're core, but usually people would just take Dragon Princes. Next we have here is the White Lions. Again, they're probably going to strike at initiative 5, as they do have great weapons, but they are better strength. So, which the always strike first roll isn't too impending, obviously. I mean, you're still going at initiative 5. For me, I'll take more losses now since I play mostly Chaos and Dark Elves, which are both initiative 5, so we go at the same time rather than me always going first. But in the end, it's not too bad. I'll still be able to go beat dwarves in combat, and in most cases, you should be able to still be able to go first. But there's that little setback, but I don't believe it's too much. Other than that, here's the Dragon Princes. Basically the same thing as they did before. And I think this also is Dragon Mage. They have the, they still have, I think they have 2 aboard. I don't know. I honestly haven't looked too much at this. I just wanted this is kind of a first viewing for me too, really. As for you, Shadow Warriors are also core, which is kind of cool. nothing really changed, I don't believe. I believe that's about the same. And then this is another new unit into the army, the Maiden Guard of Avalon. Based on the forums I've looked at, it seems like a lot of people take these. They are a beefed up archer in essence, better with ballistic skill, and their bow is also better. I believe it's strength 4, which is another 1 plus better strength than the regular archer. However, it is shorter ranged, but it also is -1 to the armor save, and I'm not sure about the other rules. I can't reveal too much, obviously, as you just can't. It's just, you have to buy the book. Let's see, over here is Phoenix Guard. There's a rumor going on that they might have been rare, but now they're still special. And yep, they're basically the same. Eagles and Griffins, not too much change there. Phoenixes, they're a new unit. Can come back to life. I think they're pretty cool. I'm probably going to add one to my collection. I don't know. I think I like the Frost Art better, personally. I just think the rule, how it can come back to life, is cooler. Whereas the Frost Heart is just a little bit more basic, but it's still very good. Tyrion and Teclis, I believe they both got a little bit nerfed. Teclis went down in points, Tyrion actually went up in points, but in the end they're still very powerful and still usable. Just more heroes, pretty much staying the same. She is anew, the Ever Queen of Ulthuan, Alariel, I think that's how you say it. The Radiant. She has a whole host of rules. My opinion yet, I don't really have one. I haven't really played with her, but she does seem like she's decent. She's only life, light, and high magic, so she's more of a good person, you could say, rather than how all of the 8 mages, or regular mages, can take the 8 floors. Anyway, moving on, these are basically the same. If you did have Caradrian, he can now mount Ashitar, which is his Frost Phoenix, if you're interested. The lore of high magic. What I found interesting about this is that they have 2 signature spells. Drain Magic, which is actually different than the old game, which can be played on your own units or enemy units, and it gets rid of remains in play spells once you cast it, which is pretty nice. Soul Quench is just a basic magic missile, and the rest of the spells, they mostly stay the same. I kind of liked Walk Between Worlds. You can move extra, so if you ever need to get close to the enemy quick, which actually elves are, particularly high elves, need to get in combat quick because they are somewhat easily dwindled down. That spell would be useful. Fiery Conviction, or whatever it is, basically is the Flames of the Phoenix a little bit toned down. Lawless Forge, as we've been seeing in the newer Warhammer books, they've dwindled down magic items. For example, we only have 1 magic banner now. It's kind of disappointing, but I can see why they did it. Magic items were sort of overpowered. The only problem is it does have an effect on the new codexes, as they have less magic items available to them than the old codexes, which have been updated, for example, like the Dark Elves. Just a bunch of pictures if you want to see some. I have to go quick here a little bit, sorry guys. Took too much time talking about these guys. But you can look at this all on the website if you really want to. But if we go over here to the High Elves army list, as you can see, 410 points, 450, Tyrion, Teclis respectively. You can judge off the other book to see the difference. But I did say before that Tyrion went up and Teclis went down. Princes, I think they stayed about the same. Archmages and mages went down. Anointed of Azurin, they're the new people who can ride the Frost Heart or Flames Heart Phoenix. Yeah. Lordmaster of Hoeth and mounts. Let's see here. Heroes, basically the same. Northern Sea Helm, that's the special character you can now have. He's not special, but you can use them as a new hero. Spearmen, as you can see at the core, Spearmen, Archers, basic. Seaguard the same, and then, as I said before, Silver Helms, Ilrain Reavers were added. And actually, sorry, I did say Shadow Warriors were added in earlier, but they weren't. That was actually a rumor, and then, yeah, that was my fault. They actually are special. Lion Chariot, Swordmasters, and White Lions both went down in points, 2 points each, less. Nice. Shadow Warriors, 14 points. Keep going. Phoenix Guard stayed the same. Dragon Princes went down a point. Sky Cutter is only 95 points. And Charon Chariot, 70 points. Evil Claw Bolt Throwers went down. Great Eagle stayed the same. And the Phoenixes, both pretty expensive. And the 200 point range, maybe not too expensive, but 200 points will cause a little dent in your army. And there's your summary books, which you probably already know what that is, just gives us detailed rules. Overall, my opinion, I haven't really looked too much into it, and I haven't played with them, so I can't give too much of an opinion, but from what it seems like, the Martial Prowess, where you can get an extra rank, will enable you to create big blocks of units and fight with all of them, making it better for morale, which I think will be a good bonus. Heroes and magic items have been dwindled down, I think, so you may not be able to use your tech lists if you use them. I never really used them too much. I think I probably used them twice. I do have the model. In this book, it does seem like he did dwindle down. However, he's still very powerful. And overall, I'm pretty pleased with the new High Elves book. However, that could change depending on how well I plan games. That could also be my fault. Other than that, a similar trend again, Games Workshop has been doing, is their prices have increased. That's because their kits now include like 2 models you can make per kit. So, for example, the Flame Sphere / Froststar Phoenix, you can make 2, but it's also $60. Similarly, the Sisters of Avalon and the Shadow Warriors are both in the same kit, but 10 of them is $50, which is a little bit high. I must say, I think those Sisters must be pretty powerful, because it seems like in the forums, if you ever look around, they've been pretty powerful. Everybody's been using them, and they've gotten some decent reviews. Oh, that's about it, guys. I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this review. See you all later.